Praise the Lord. Wow. Glory to his name. Had a pastor used to say that ought to make a mummy shout. Pastor McQueen, you remember him? I'm trying. We'll get ready here in a minute. Going to go to Mark, chapter 2. I've been telling this story all weekend, so if you've heard it a couple times, maybe this time you'll get it. Verse 13. Hallelujah. Glory to you. So Jesus was teaching down at the lake, Sea of Galilee. And a large crowd came. And as he walked along, he saw Levi, son of Alphaeus, also known as Matthew. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. That Matthew. Well, before Matthew met Jesus, he was a bad guy. He was a bad guy. He was a tax collector for the Romans. That meant he was a thief and a cheat, a liar, probably a murderer. He was a gangster boss. He was a drug lord. He was a bad guy. Bad. A guy that you'd think, no way on earth will that guy ever come to God. He was a hopeless case. We see those. We think he's hopeless. There's no way. Wasting your breath on him. Jesus saw him. The tax booth was kind of elevated, so that you came up to it and you kind of had to look up, and there was a little rim there. You couldn't see him changing money. You couldn't see what all he had in there. You had to look up and give him the money. The Romans required so much, and then whatever he took above that was his. And so extortion was sort of the name of the game. And you pay your money. Jesus walked by and saw him right there in the middle of his sin, his rebellion, his running away from God. Saw him right there. And he said 2 words. Follow me. And he didn't wait for an answer. He kept on walking. Well, Matthew, Levi, same guy, dropped everything, emptied his hands, got up, and followed Jesus. And both his life and our lives have been changed. He wrote the book of Matthew, the first book in the New Testament. A gangster. Wow. What does it mean to follow? We were in Niger, and a couple times we were traveling across country, and we'd usually have 2 or 3 vehicles. And if you're in the front one and the back guy is kind of dawdling, you kind of have to wait a minute, make sure he's coming, because flat tires were real common, outlaws were common, breakdowns of other sorts. You just wanted to make sure you stayed together. And so we'd have to wait. We'd slow down until we could see him coming over the crest of the hill a mile or 2 behind. One time there was 3 cars, and I was in the 3rd car, and the middle guy was dawdling. He wasn't keeping up with the guy leading who knew where we were going. And you're thinking, hurry up. He wasn't following very well. He was having a pleasant time. They were talking and singing and having a great time, but they weren't following very well. He wanted to close up. To follow means to walk where I walk, to walk in my steps. 1 John 2:6 says, whoever claims to be in him, Jesus, must walk as Jesus did, by obeying his word and following the life of love that he lived. This is my commandment, Jesus said, that you love one another, just like I've loved you. That's pretty tough. It's one thing to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. But to love like Jesus did, that's a whole new deal. Love like Jesus did. In 1 Corinthians 14:1, Paul says, follow, pursue love. I think we could say pursue the Word. He is the Word. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. He is love. You can pursue the Word and you can pursue love. Paul said in Philippians 3:10, I want to know him. Here's Paul, toward the end of his life. You'd think if anybody knew him, it would be Paul. Paul says, I want to know him. There's a lot to know. In Matthew 11:28, Jesus said, come to me, you who are weary, burdened, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I'm humble and gentle in spirit, and you'll find rest for your souls. Because my yoke is easy and my burden is light. You see, once you get there with him, right beside him, he carries the load. He does the pulling. You're just there with him. Follow me, Jesus said. Levi dropped everything, emptied his hands. You know, we all have stuff. We've got stuff in our hands usually. Often a cell phone. I love that commercial where everybody on the street has a cell phone and they're walking down the street, everybody's looking at their phone. Then they're in a bus, people in the bus looking at their phone, even the bus driver's looking at his phone. I think they're trying to sell a car that protects you by moving out of the way of things like that. It's a major addiction, I think, in America. We're all stuck on our phone. So you need to unplug. You need to turn it off. You need to back up a little bit. Have a little time to follow Jesus. You need to step back from the world. Follow the Spirit, Paul said. Be led by the Spirit. Levi gave up everything. And so, since he wasn't coming back, he decided to throw a big party and spend some of that pile of money he had. So he threw a big party. No, the problem was the only people he knew were tax collectors and sinners, all his rowdy friends. So they had a big party. All the riffraff in town were there. I think we'd be welcome. Just saying. And there they were, Jesus in the middle of it. Right there in the party. You see, Jesus goes to where people like us are, sinners. If Jesus were walking around here today, he'd be walking through the casinos, through the bars, speaking love and peace and repentance. Kind of messes with our head, doesn't it? That's where he was. So the Pharisees showed up about this time, the righteous people, the religious people, the externally righteous people, people who thought they were righteous. The disciples, they said to him, they were on the edge of the party, they said, why is he in there eating and drinking with sinners and tax collectors? Not hanging out with us righteous people. They didn't say that part. And when Jesus heard it, he said, it's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I didn't come to call the righteous, but the sinners. He said, go and learn what this means. I desire mercy and not sacrifice. See, the Pharisees were putting on an external righteousness, thought they were righteous by following the rules, man-made rules. That's why popular religions are Islam and Mormonism, because they have rules. It's like Weight Watchers. If you count the points and follow the rules, you lose weight. If you follow the rules, you go to heaven. It's a very legalistic system. People like that. Check off the boxes, now I can do whatever I want. I don't have to change my heart. I don't have to become a new person. I just check off the boxes, and now I'm good. Strap a bomb to me, it's okay. Because I've checked the boxes. External righteousness leads to death. Rules made by man. They were self-righteous. In Micah, little prophet book back not very far left of Matthew, Micah 6:8. So the chapter's talking about, how do I come to God? What should I do? What rules should I follow to get to God? Shall I offer a bull as a sacrifice, or a sheep, or a lamb? What should I do? What rule can I follow to get to God? And God says in verse 8, He has showed you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. You see, the Pharisees had no humility, and they had no mercy. And their only sense of justice was when it was applied to somebody else. But that's not what the prophet said. The prophet said, with yourself, be just. Be severe with yourself. Don't cut yourself any slack. If you owe somebody something, pay it. If you need forgiveness, go find out how to get it. Do what you have to do. Don't cut yourself any slack. But with others, dealing with others, love mercy. And you think about it. I think back of when I was a kid or growing up, men I admired lived that way. They were severe with themselves. But to everybody else, they were quick to forgive. Didn't hold grudges. They were at peace. And then he said, walk humbly with your God. You know, part of following is humility. There's got to be a little humility to follow somebody else. You know, when you're kids, you're walking along with another kid, and pretty soon, one kid's in front, and the other kid tries to take the lead again. You're walking faster and faster, and pretty soon you're running. There's a race on. With kids, kind of need to decide who's the leader, who's the follower. It's called pecking order. Cows do it, horses do it, dogs do it. There's a lead cow. My cows just don't get up and go to the pond in the summer until grandma cow gets up and goes to the pond, and they all go behind her. There's a lead cow. Other cows are followers. It takes a little humility to follow. That's hard on us. We all want to be John Wayne. We all want to be whoever. But we need to follow Jesus. Walk humbly with your God. Jesus was at Levi's home. not condemning those people. In the midst of that party, not condemning anyone, but showing mercy and hope and love, inviting them to follow him, come along. You see, there are no prerequisites. Nothing you have to do before you come to Jesus. You don't got to clean yourself up, clean up your act, go to church a while, put on new clothes, pay a lot of money to the church, climb a mountain. There's nothing you have to do. Jesus said, follow me. And all you've got to do is get up and follow. It may cost you something, but it's worth it. You see, he's already come to you, and he says, follow me. Even if you've followed him a long time, even if you've been with him a long time, even if, as 1 John says, you've been in him a long time, you need to walk like he walked. Paul said, toward the end, I want to know him. There's more to know. There's closer steps to take. There's more to give up. Follow me. Hosea says, I desire mercy, not sacrifice. You see, it was a fast day, a day of fasting on which this party occurred. And the Pharisees were all messed up because they wanted to know why Jesus wasn't fasting with them. Instead, he was eating and drinking with sinners. Something much more important than fasting was going on. Mercy. Mercy and love and forgiveness. Part of following is coming close, and we could use the word relationship, but that's a tough word these days. We don't know exactly what that means. Maybe we ought to say family instead of relationship. In your family, you know each other. You know your brothers and sisters when you're growing up. You're going to protect each other. You got each other's back. When you have babies, you want to know all about that baby. You don't want to miss anything. When they take their first step or run around screaming, you want to hear it. You want to be there. You want to know every bit of it. It's okay. It's good. I'm envious. When we went to Africa the second time, we're going to stay a year. A surgeon had been there 30 years and was retiring, and I was going to fill in for a year. I had another guy coming, but he was a year off from getting there. And Janine was going to teach in the nursing school. And we had a 9-month-old. Forgot to mention that part. And so, Hannah Joy. So the first day or two, I don't remember exactly what day, they killed a cobra out in our front yard. We were in a duplex. On the other side was an older GYN lady, been there 30 years, great lady, great doc. We shared this duplex. Out in the yard, right there, the bushes by the side of the house, a cobra, a big one. The guys that keep the garden and stuff killed the cobra, and they were all excited. And we looked at each other. I don't think we had to say a word. We just decided one of us is going to be with that baby 24 hours. We're going to have a nanny that's going to take care of her while Janine went to the nursing school. So I said, you can go to the nursing school, I'll keep the baby, or you can keep the baby and I'll go cut on people. She said, I'll stay home. And we did. We kept her in tow for that year. The other missionaries made a little fun of us because they were older and they thought, it'll be all right. I'm thinking, whatever. Get out of here. It's my baby we're talking about. We're that way, aren't we? We want to know every detail. Did she eat today? We want to know that her diaper got full and it's the right color and the right amount. We want to know all that. Is she eating? She sweating? She fevered? We knew she had a fever when she stopped sweating. It was 90 degrees, 90% humidity every day. So if you weren't sweating, it meant that you had a fever. You were hot. So we'd say, she's not sweating. Ooh. Get all nervous. You see, God wants to know you like that. He's concerned with every aspect of your life. Every little bit. And if you follow him, he'll keep you out of the soup. He'll keep you out of the ditch. Paul said, be led by the Spirit, you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. We need to follow him. It's the only thing that provides life and hope, eternal life. It's not a comparison. There's nothing else that compares to it. It's not like, well, I think I'll follow Buddha. Well, that's pretty dumb. I'm sorry. Any Buddhists in here? If you are, I want to talk to you. No, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody. Following him may not be as easy as you think, though. Several people in the Gospels he put off. Jesus wasn't just this milquetoast, sweet to everybody guy. Several people he told to hit the road. One guy said, let me wait till my father dies. I'll bury him, take care of things, and then I'll come follow you. And Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead. One guy said, wherever you go, I'll go. And he said, I don't even have a place to sleep. I'm sleeping by the road. You probably don't need to come. A rich young ruler came and said, what do I do? And Jesus said, sell everything. Give to the poor and then come follow me. He was very wealthy. He didn't come. Levi, Matthew, he dumped everything and came. It cost him, in the world's view, everything. But in the kingdom, it was a very little thing. Just a pile of money. Stolen money. Now it may cost something. To follow him takes commitment. You have to give yourself totally to him. This almost the end of football season. Some of us used to be OSU fans and some of us used to be OU fans, but most of us are a little lukewarm about the subject right now. I don't even know who won the games yesterday. But it takes commitment to be a football player. If you're going to be on that sideline at OU and you're going to have a red helmet on, you have paid a price to be there. It's a year-round deal. Oh, by the way, you'll go to class a few times, and they hope you at least make a C or else they'll have to get rid of you. But it's an all-year-long thing. There's weight room, there's running, there's training. It never quits. Now, there are people up in the stands at the game, and they get real excited. But what do we call them? Fans. They're not players. They don't get to wear a helmet. They don't get to catch the ball. It takes commitment. And those guys pretty much give themselves totally to that program and to that idea for as long as they're there. If they get caught smoking or doing drugs, they're out. Don't even think about it. Don't even talk about it. Just out. Charity spoke Thursday night about the love slave. It's a great story, concept. It's in Deuteronomy and Leviticus. I think it's in there twice. So the idea was in Moses' law, what he wrote down, he said, They'd all been given land. When they took the new land, they were given an allotment of land, each family. You're going to go out there and raise corn and run some sheep and goats, maybe a cow or two. Be a farmer. Well, I think Moses realized, God realized, there would be some people out there that aren't very good farmers. Now, my wife can grow anything. She got a green thumb. Mine's black. I can't grow a thing. I'm forbidden to go in the garden. It might scare the plants. Not quite like that. Some guys couldn't make it. They just couldn't make it. Or they can fix a toaster, or change a light bulb, or build a chair, but they can't farm. And so he said, if somebody's like that, and they can't make it, they can go to their neighbor, maybe their brother, maybe their cousin, say, hire me. I want to work for you. And he said, you can do it for a 7-year thing, a 7-year indentured servant. You come and work for him, he'll feed you, take care of your family. You'll live, you won't starve. And you can do stuff, you can work for him. But at the end of 7 years, you got to let him go free. And don't send him away empty-handed. You got to give him some sheep to start, some goats to start, some seed to plant. Help him get started. But then there might be another group of people who after the 7 years realized, I really don't want to go out there again. I love my boss here, my owner, whatever, my master. I love it here. I get to do what I can do. I get to work. My family's fed. We're doing good. We're prospering. I want to stay here because I love my master. I love the family. They love me. And so the law said, if that's the case, and after 7 years he wants to stay, you have a little ceremony. You go to a doorpost and you take a little awl and you pound a little hole through his earlobe to signify that I'm a slave based on love, because I love my master. That's us with Jesus. You know, as you give yourself to God, you discover true freedom. We think we know what freedom is. Freedom is not just free choice. Freedom from selfishness and sin. Freedom to walk humbly with your God. Freedom as a son and an heir. Commitment as a family. Freedom based on love. And freedom to love. I had a man out in the arena one day tell me, you Christians are slaves. I don't want to be a slave. I told him this story about the love slave. I said it's about love. It's about belonging. God doesn't want you to be poor. He doesn't want you to be starving. He wants to bless you and prosper you. He's got a plan for you, a purpose for you. He wants to bless your socks off. But the way there is following him. Some people have a different road than others. Paul had a tough life. Paul started to fight everywhere he went. He was in jail more than he was out, I think. Beaten, stoned, left for dead, shipwrecked, stoned. And he wanted to know him in the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering. Wow. Wow. Jesus told his disciples, take up your cross, and follow me. Follow me. Wow. It may cost you everything to follow him, but he'll give you life and he'll take away your death. He'll give you righteousness, and he'll take away your sin. He'll give you hope, and he'll take away your despair. He'll give you light for darkness. He'll flood you with living water and clothe you with righteousness and authority. He'll give you true life, abundant life, everlasting life. It's one thing to be a fan up there in the stands. It's another to be a follower. I don't know where you are in your walk with Jesus. But it's a new year, it's a new season, it's a new time. It's time to judge yourself. The old prophet says, apply justice to yourself. We need to follow him. We need to lay down everything and follow him. His agenda, his plan. He has one for you. And it'll be better than anything you can cook up. Because it'll be life. It'll be abundant life. It's not about money. It's not about possessions unless they're holding you back. It's not money that's evil. It's the love of money. If you want money instead of God, it'll hold you back. If you want popularity or notoriety instead of God, it'll hold you back. Or power. It'll hold you back. I don't know if you've ever committed yourself to Jesus, even for the first time, or maybe you wonder if you ever have. Oh, I beg you not to leave here today unless you know for sure that if you died in the next minute, that you'd go straight to heaven. Don't pass go, don't pay $200. Straight to heaven. It's serious as a toothache. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so whatever it is, but you need to know where you're going. There's no do-overs. You need to commit yourself to him and let him fill you to overflow with his presence this morning. We're going to sing a song. If you want to come down here and let us pray with you, if you need to make a deeper commitment, if you want to tell him, I've kind of got lost on the path here, but I want to follow you, come down. Spend a few minutes with us. Let us pray. Make sure you know. Praise the Lord.